special guest in the experts chair tonight, because Jimmy Bartell is having a night off, is a man that is playing at the St Kilda Football Club. Bit of a swingman at the moment at the Saints. His name is Jack Silvagni. Jack, good to see you, and welcome aboard.
Thank you, Matty. Thank you. Very excited to be here. Big boots to fill, but looking forward to it.
How are you finding it at the Saints?
Really enjoying it. Yeah, the change has been awesome. It's nice to string a few games together after an interrupted pre-season. So I'm really enjoying my time there and looking forward to the second half of the year.
Now, you got a big game on Sunday, and you got your mate Charlie Curnow. Now, we saw you play a bit forward last week.
Yep.
Is it straight to Charlie? You're starting forward. Do you know where you're going to start?
I'm sure I'll see Charlie at some stage. But no, Ross can sort of mull over things over a couple of nights. So there's every chance when I roll into a meeting my name's somewhere different on the board. But, I think I'll probably start back at this stage.
Jack, so you're currently 5 wins, 7 losses. What do you think you need to do to just bridge the gap on the best side, you think?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about last week, it was probably a bit of an outlier for the way we've played. We've sort of been within a kick for much of the game for most of our losses. Freo kicked away late, so we're obviously really disappointed with the first half last week. Our second half was better, but the game was sort of sewn up by half time. So, we get some really quality players back in Naz and Mitch Owens and Liam Ryan. Jack Higgins isn't too far away, so we've probably just struggled to find a real avenue to score, but we get some more run with Naz back, and hopefully things sort of start to turn our way.
That's the voice of St Kilda star Jack Silvagni, who's joining us exclusively as part of 3AW Football's lineup for tonight's clash between Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs. And Matty, never have I seen a player in his current day come in to call the game, and he's brought his own notes. And I'm looking over his shoulder here. He is
well prepared.
He's written out the teams from the back line to the forward line. He's got matchups. He's got game styles. He's got more than Lloyd he's got in front of him.
I needed to fill a page, otherwise I felt like I was a fraud. So I've put gaps in between every name.
You'll learn well this one.
Thanks.
That's good.
Research is not just a suburb in Melbourne. Lloyd, he's done a good job.
How much time, Jack, would you spend during the week, assuming you know a fair way out who you're going to play on, watching Vision?
We do sort of line previews and whatnot, but I think a lot of it's down to the individual and how much emphasis they put in on who they're playing on. So,
will you go sit in a room by yourself and watch edits?
Yeah, I probably will, but I won't sort of do my head in over it. Otherwise, I can find myself overthinking a little bit. I still want to play with some sort of instinct. So, but it's definitely an important part. I don't want to fly blind, and I think coaches and many players would be the same.
It's just amazing, Matty, and you've called a lot of it. How many times Gunston's got hold of people?
Yeah, and Hardwick, as you said, that little patch of they leave that space. Is that different to a lot of clubs do, like leaving that space for them to lead into?
I think more clubs are sort of starting to do it. The Gold Coast are doing it a little bit with Ben King. Clubs are sort of starting to leave one deeper with the extra on the bench. Teams seem to have more run as the game goes on. So, I mean, if it keeps working for the Hawks and Gold Coast, I think more teams will probably do it.
Sam, just a couple of newsy things that we didn't touch on in the previous hour. The coaching race, where are you at with Essendon and Carlton? And specifically John Longmire, where do you think his head's at the moment? Is he in the mix for either of these two jobs, do you think?
John Longmire wants to coach again. He's interested in both roles. I think the interesting thing from the other perspective is that which club of the two would be willing to pay him the $1.2, $1.3, $1.4 plus million that he will demand. Essendon are going down a road under Craig Vozzo where they're reviewing the football department and what a soft cap spend should look like. Carlton under Graham Wright, who's 2 from 2 really at picking untried coaches to turn them into successful ones, you would think would go down that road before they went down a Longmire path. But I think if either club picked up the phone, Matty, he would be receptive to a call.
Would these guys be willing to take less to get a job, Sam?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lord. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of John, but what I would say is that I think clubs have looked at situations like North Melbourne and have thought, well, if they're spending the best part of $2 million on Alistair Clarkson and Todd Viney, is that the best way forward? Because we know how difficult it is and how many hours, and Jack could probably speak to how many hours assistant coaches put in. It's a tough role, particularly when you're not getting paid that much money. So I think they're looking at teams now. Your defensive line coach, Jackie, is...
James Allen.
Yeah. And
the ex-Werribee coach.
And how much time would you be spending with him each week?
Stacks. I mean, it's not so much with us. It's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes as well. It's coding games. It's getting games ready for the following week. There's a lot of work now at all clubs. All clubs use analysts to take a bit of the load off the assistant coaches.
Opposition analysts, you mean?
Yeah, but analysts for each sort of line and aspect of the game. The Saints and both Carlton use that as well. So I think they're used pretty broadly across all clubs and all programs. So that sort of helps with a little bit of the load. But in terms of face-to-face player-coach sort of stuff, they put in a stack of hours because you can't sort of beat direct feedback in terms of finding out how you're going and what you need to do, whether to improve or, what you're doing well. So, he comes in from Lara as well, so he's a fair way
He
away.
commutes.
Yeah.
He does.
Wow.
Hey, Jack, from a player's point of view, the sugar high effect after and you've gone through it at Carlton before, but when a new coach comes in, we're seeing what Carlton are doing at the moment. What happens in the psychology of a player when a coach is sacked?
It's difficult to say. There's always little tweaks and stuff that coaches make coming in, but I always think it's hard to scout. It's like a new team essentially. That it's hard to scout a team that you haven't seen before. So a lot of there's so much emphasis placed on opposition analysis and all that, but it's essentially, particularly that first week, there's such a high hit rate with new coaches coming in. It's so hard to scout a team that you haven't seen before. There's going to be similarities, but it's difficult to prepare. It's difficult to prepare for a game when they're going to change things and you don't know what's going on. So
a new coach does change a team on the spot?
Not on the spot, but during the week, and there's definitely some changes, yeah.
And some positional changes too, I suppose. He might like some players in roles that the senior coach didn't, which I want to ask you about Corey Enright. There's a lot of talk about him. What's your views on him in your first year at St Kilda?
I really like Boris. I think he's a great footy mind. I think him and Ross bounce really well off each other. If he wants to coach, I think he'd be a terrific senior coach. Selfishly, I hope he stays, but if he does choose to go down the path of the process of the two clubs that are currently without a coach, I think he'd be a terrific candidate.
And the other question I wanted to ask too is that this idea of keeping the interim coach on. You went through it with the Teague train with David Teague. Went well and then became the full-time coach. What's your view on that? Josh Fraser at the moment said he doesn't want to do it, but if a coach, I think Reece Shaw, we had an example of him doing it, but there's littered with examples over the years of keeping the interim coach into the following year. Or should you always go through the process, do you think?
I think it's case by case. Every club's going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different decision to make. Talking on the Blues, I really love... I had Fraser in my first couple of years coaching at the Northern Blues, so I have a really good relationship with Fraser. I've sent him a text. I know he holds ambitions to be a senior coach one day, and I think he'd be a great senior coach, having coached me before. So if he chooses to do that, that's fine, but if not, then that's his prerogative. But each club's going to have a different outlook on it, and it'll be different case by case, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting, Jack. I always find it fascinating with the shackles. The shackles are released for players when a new coach, when an old coach gets sacked and a new coach comes. I just can't believe that sometimes the whole thing just changes. It must be more psychology than anything else, really. Yeah,
yes and no. The little tinkering of game plans, and it might be something as simple as changing how you sort of move the ball. A team that, might be more kick mark, try to hold the ball off and tends to start it up more and becomes a more live footy team. So little things like that would be really different. But, as I said, I think new coaches coming in, when they do change things, it's so hard to scout for, which makes it so difficult for other teams.
Did you see anything different with Essendon last week? We've seen something different with Carlton. What about
his
Essendon?
problem was he had a week where he took over. No Durham, no Caldwell, no Redmond. Thinking there was one other big, no McGrath. So he lost 4 of his best 8 or 9 players. So they'll all come back in the next few weeks.